don't know if it's like a microphone or what.
What?
Because I'm hearing a squeaking, but I don't know if it's like
microphone's
making it, or if it's just a reverb. Like it's totally,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Hello, everyone. I see we've got a few people watching. We are here for reading sprints for the Romance Takeover Readathon. I'm very excited to have Jen and Christy here with me.
Yes.
And I guess we can just give everybody an update about maybe what we've been reading today and what we're going to be reading for the sprints. So, Jen, why don't you go first?
Okay. Well, I will for sure finish this tonight. I have about this much left of my audiobook for Be Still My Heart, which honestly, this is straight up a romantic suspense. It's a serial killer plot, but not like the spicy kind. Like literally, it's an FBI agent and an ex-Navy SEAL. He's now a lobster fisherman because he took over his dad's business. And there is someone who shows up dead, like in his trap, like when he goes out to collect lobster. And so that's how he's involved. And then our heroine, she's from a bigger police agency that gets called in to help. Not the FBI, just like a bigger police force. And so that's like what's going on. So I won't lie, like I'm kind of disappointed that that's just what this is, because especially like who the authors are. But I mean, it definitely has more going on. Like there's a connection that she has to this little, because it's an island that it's all happening onto. But yeah, I don't know. Like it's not a bad book. It's just not the expectations I had for like these two authors based on the other things that they write, that this is what they wrote together.
Who were the authors?
Yeah, it's Emily McIntyre. So from The Scarred and Twisted and that. And then Sav R. Miller, who does like Promises and Pomegranates and Liars and Liaisons is the new one coming. So like those. And it's not even really like the romance is definitely not dark. I mean, there's murder mystery going. So this is romantic suspense 100%. But yeah, I'm not hating it. It's just definitely not what I was expecting from it. So I'm just kind of like, but I was listening to it while I was doing projects all day. So it went by pretty quick and I'm almost done. So
yeah, come on, Disneyland. All right.
Ooh, have fun, Melissa.
What are you spending time with us?
Hi, everybody.
That's
Christy, what about you?
So this morning I finished Daughter of No Worlds by Carissa Broadbent, and I really like that. I think it was a really solid start to that fantasy trilogy. So I definitely going to continue on with that eventually, but probably not during the readathon. So now I am going to start The Black Lily by Juliet Cross. So yeah. Cool. And I don't know why I didn't realize these were like fairy tale retellings as well as paranormal. So Daniela was telling me, like, she was reading some of them for the readathon, and she's like, yeah, fairy tale retellings. I was like, wait, what?
Right, girl.
Like, I just got stuck on the vampire paranormal part.
Yes. Yeah. The vampire, like, the new covers definitely do help because they fit the fantasy aesthetic more than but I mean, I had no idea either. So I won't act like, when I'm like, Juliet, what's your favorite of your backlist books? She's like, oh, I really loved those. They were this. And I was like, why do I not hear about these?
Well, exactly.
It's because they're with a publisher and she's kind of like, has interesting feelings. Sorry, I'm not gonna.
Right, yeah.
Like,
but it's like, with like she's promoting her Stay a Spell because that is, and she should, because they're her best book. They're absolutely
for sure.
These are fun. These are really fun. Particularly books 2 and 3, I really, really liked. So
I need to get into that series.
Yeah, for sure. And they're like, they're fun. They're fun, especially one of her heroes. He's a bad boy, but it's great. The one that's like Snow White is delightful. The one that's like Snow White.
Because that's what Daniela was telling me about, a Snow White one.
Yes.
Like, okay.
The 7 dwarves are 7 children who are war orphans instead of like.
Okay.
Interesting. Okay.
It's great.
Cool. Cool. Yes,
Yay, Linda. Yes, I love that book.
Nobody's Duke. Oh, so good.
So good.
Yeah. I will say, Christy, have you read all of that series?
I did, yeah.
I don't know how you feel about it, but I feel like the first 2 books were like so good and so strong. And then as the series went along, I was like,
yeah,
okay, like this is fine, you know.
Yeah, the first
like
is still my favorite.
Yeah.
I think that some of her books are in the Audible Plus catalog because I
really?
think I just snagged one. Let me check. I think
you might be right.
I know this series was on Hoopla.
Yeah. This series
Lady Ruthless.
Oh, okay.
Lady Ruthless was on. I mean, I only grabbed like the first one in one, but I just like, you can apparently take 20 Audible Plus titles as well. Because I was adding them and I realized I had 15, 16 titles. And I was like, usually it will like, I mean, the last time I tried was like 6 months ago because I don't always get through these. But it didn't stop me. So I just kept adding books. And then I went and checked and I had 16 titles checked out. So apparently they upped that. I mean, it's not like they really need to have a cap on those because you can have as much as you want, you know.
Right.
But yeah, so I grabbed Lady Ruthless, and it's dual narrated. There are 2 narrators for Lady Ruthless.
Yeah, I just grabbed it as well. I actually just saw somebody posting about that on Instagram today about that book, and I really liked the tropes for it. So I'm going to grab that.
Maybe it's just a first chapter. Like there's a Lorraine Heath series that it has dual narrators and I get really excited, but the heroes read the first chapter.
Yeah.
Epilogue, like the end of the epilogue.
It's their like diary letter. And I was like, what? No, I want this. But that one series has those. But girl, you can do it. You can do it. Oh, are you liking it though, Lexi? I saw you were reading it and I got really excited. You have to tell me how you're feeling about God of Malice because I really love that one. Scottish Highlands. Plaid and plagiarism.
I love that title.
Oh, it's a contemporary in the Scottish Highlands. All right.
Oh, okay. Hello. So in terms of what I'm reading, so I've read so far for the readathon, I've read Requiem by Callie Hart, and then I started today When the Earl Met His Match by Stacey Reed. So excited for this book. I had realized that I think I've only read like 3 books by Stacey Reed.
Ooh.
I think.
Yeah.
And I had read Accidentally Compromising the Duke, which is technically book 1 of the series. I really liked it.
Yeah.
But I'm excited. I'm like 26% of the way through.
Okay.
Right now.
So you know do you know some of the secrets then that get laid out?
Yeah. Some of the secrets.
Okay, the dog though, y'all. The dog. I'm just saying the dog.
The dog.
I listened to the prologue and I was like, no way. Is that dog really gonna be like, is that gonna be what I think it's gonna be? And it was. And I was like,
Yeah.
Anyway.
I'm planning on reading this soon, Quarterback Sneak. I just recently got the audiobook. So I'm excited.
It's a fun series.
It's a really fun series, yeah.
So what'd you think of Requiem?
Requiem, I ended up giving like 3-ish stars.
Okay.
Have you read it?
No.
Oh, okay.
I'm not sure if it would be for me, so I haven't.
I'm gonna say no. Okay, here's the thing.
Yeah.
Because like I had known going into it that there was gonna be a plot twist, but what the plot twist takes away what drew me into the book in the first place, the whole Dark Academia thing. The plot twist resolves all of that pretty much. Yeah. And so it's like, oh, then this is not what I signed up for.
Right.
It's over 400 pages, about like 450 pages. And I feel like with all that page time, I wanted better character development. So it's not, unfortunately, like wasn't my favorite. The audiobook was well done though. It recently came out. But it wasn't my favorite, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Oh, I need to get to Rake I'd Like to F and Villain I'd Like to F.
They're so good.
Because I loved Duke I'd Like to F.
Yeah, I need to do I just haven't read the villain one, but after the newest Joanna Shupe, like I have to read her gangster romance.
Yes.
Yes.
Very
so good. Yeah.
Gotta get to my gangsters. I'm telling you, it is a market that needs more. Is historical
It does.
gangsters.
And Joanna Shupe can serve that.
I know, and instead of doing like cowboys in America can be problematic. Let's do gangsters in America, okay? That doesn't have to be problematic.
Yeah.
I mean, they're still problematic, but dang, there's some great history with that. So let's do it. Oh, did I miss what Lexi said about it?
She said 55% through.
Okay. Okay, but look, we're not comparing Carter and him. They're completely different characters. We're not comparing. Okay. Carter isn't a psychopath. Everyone, let me remind us, Carter is not a psychopath. He has trauma as a child. The character in this book, he don't have trauma. He's crazy. But it's okay. No, I make the comparison too. I'm guilty of selling on the comparison because that's what people want from me. They want me to compare books to Untouchable.
Right.
So I have to do it sometimes. But,
how many books have you read so far for the readathon?
I'm on book 6.
Oh my God, Christy.
I'm on book 5. And then I started
gosh.
book 6. I started book 6 last night. So
Nice.
this was my audio that I was saving today because it's my last one that I have audio. And I was, hold on, let me show you. I was in a bit of a sewing.
Oh, you got a lot done.
I did.
So yeah, you can just keep listening to an audiobook.
I know. So I was like, well, and that's why like I'm not hating this. Like if I'd been reading this with my eyes, I maybe would have DNF'd it. And again, not because it's bad, but like it's like crime scene stuff and also insta-lust in a weird way. Like, I mean, ever since Crystal pointed it out to me that it's something I don't like is that when the first eye on someone is I want to bend them over and fuck them, I'm like literally walks in the room and is like her hair. I could imagine myself pulling it as I fucked her. I'm like, that's the first thought?
Yeah.
She's not innocent either because she's getting wet for someone who she's questioning for murder. And I'm like, and literally, my eyes rolled because it's in chapter 3.
Right.
And they're walking to each other, and he's like, "Oh my God, I can imagine myself fucking her, but she's the enemy. I can't think about it." And I'm like, really? So
yeah,
that's what I mean is like those things that I've had pointed out to me by people smarter than myself. I'm like, I wish you wouldn't have pointed that out to me because now I notice it.
Yeah.
It's great. I like being able to be to articulate why something isn't working for me.
Yeah.
Because I would have just been like, there's just no connection. And it's like, yeah, it's because it started with, I want to fuck her on a table. I'm like, inappropriate moment. Okay. And you're also not
this comment
17. Oh yes, hello, Reading Ren. It's always a fun time when Jen's around. Okay, so
we have another.
But that was my issue with what was it? My Killer Vacation by Tessa Bailey. That is a similar like situation. Like as soon as they meet, that's their first thoughts about each other.
Right.
And that's why I couldn't get behind that one.
Well, and here's the thing: like it's the reason why it's something to be noticed is it isn't just one author who does it. Like even authors I really love, like do that. Like it happens in historicals too.
Yeah.
But it sounds sometimes more elegant when it's happening in a historical. And then in the case of, the one book I really just loved, like they had already had a certain kind of contact with each other. So then when they meet and they add another element, you're like, now I'm okay with them being instantly attracted because like their minds met before they met.
Right.
Yeah.
But when you're in, and again, like adults here, like 30, 35-year-olds here, it's not like it's like a hockey like, and I'm not degrading a hockey romance, but I would be more forgiving if it was like a jock and a cheerleader who are 18 and 19 who
Right,
are
you don't.
Right.
like, fuck him. Like that would match their brain for me. So
Right.
I wouldn't be as like, really, did you have to think that right away? You know, I wouldn't be as harsh a critic. But for this being a romantic suspense that is trying to have layers to it, the authors still fell into that sin where they're like,
Yeah.
oh, I want to fuck her on the table. And I'm like, well, she wants to arrest you for murder, so maybe that's not such a good idea.
This comment though.
Anyway, but does he actually have the brain? Well, no, but he does. He does grab that hair eventually.
Well, there you go.
It's on his boat, so there we go. But yeah.
All right. So I was just planning for this to just do one 45-minute sprint, and then we can chat.
Okay.
So I'm gonna add it to the stream. Okay. And this one has the peaceful birds at the end, everyone, not the cat.
Perfect.
Although I do love the cat every now and then, but
Yeah.
There's my update. See, Christy's getting filled in.
Oh, nice.
Ooh.
Yeah,
It kind of matches the aesthetic of this time.
Yeah.
No, it is a sunset.
Yeah.
There you go.
It works. But...
I love it.
All right.
See y'all in 45 minutes.
Okay.
All right. How did everybody's sprint go?
Oh, mine was really intense because we had the good old, we think we've got the person, but there's still another body that gets dropped. So
Oh.
I'm in that. I found out who it is. I'm in the epilogue now. So literally almost done.
Oh, nice.
Yep. I just have 8 pages left. So that means I get to finally start this baby.
Yay!
Oh, yay.
Time. Can't wait. So
What about you, Christy?
Yeah, mine went good too. I'm doing the audio from Hoopla while I'm like going through my physical copy too. And yeah, it's a lot of fun because it's like Cinderella retelling, but also vampires and like the heroine's trying to assassinate the king who's a vampire. Or no, the prince, sorry. Yeah. So it's fun.
Yeah. Because the vampires rule this world, Rachel. Instead of the vampires being hiding, they're in.
They're like the rulers of the king.
Yeah.
Cool. I just realized that she has these audios on Hoopla, like you just said.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
They're on Anyplay too, because Entangled did them. So.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they're not exclusive to Amazon or anything. So.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a pretty short listen. It's like, I think like 8 hours. It's only like 300, a little less than 300 pages.
Mm-hmm.
So it's fun.
I'll have to check that out soon. Well, as soon as the audio for Resting Witch Face drops.
Ooh, yeah.
That's my next Juliet read.
Less than 2 weeks.
Yay! Oh, I didn't realize it was so soon. That's
exciting. The 21st.
Okay, I already pre-ordered it. So as soon as it drops, we're going. Jen, did you freeze?
I think she did.
She'll be back in a second. Usually it just just a second. But my sprint went really well. I just got to 40% through when the Earl met his match.
Oh, nice.
And like Jen was saying in the group therapy sprints the other day, like the hero's mute, but I'm already seeing that like he does really sweet and swoony things for the heroine. So I'm just very excited to see where their romance goes.
I can't wait to read that one. I was gonna start that one today, and I was like, I've already met the historical prompt for the readathon. I need to mix it up.
Yeah,
but I do want to get to that soon.
Mm-hmm. Jen will probably join back in a minute.
Yeah.
What's been your favorite Stacy read?
Ooh, that's hard. I really loved Accidentally Compromising the Duke, which is the first one in the series you're reading.
Yeah, that one was really good.
That was actually, I think that was my first from her, and it was my favorite. And then obviously My Darling Duke was great. Mm-hmm. A Scoundrel of Her Own, A Matter of Temptation. Those are all really good. She has so many.
I'm hoping to read A Matter of Temptation soon, because I do have the physical copy of that. And then a lot of her audios are on Hoopla, which is really nice. Anytime I find an author that I like didn't necessarily expect to be on Hoopla and they are, I get so excited.
Yeah. Oh, and I love the Scandalous Diary of Lily Layton that she did. That one is
a
steamy fun. Yeah.
Yes, that one is very steamy. For sure.
I love that one.
Hey, you're back. Jen.
Hold on, I don't have sound.
That's okay.
Do I hear you now?
I hear you. Technical difficulties.
Whatever. We're like almost done, and then I lose it.
Matter of Temptation. Yeah, I'm excited.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And I love the cover for that one. It's so pretty.
Yes. She's had like good covers. Like she still has good covers coming out, which I love.
Yeah, she really does.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Have you read this whole series, Christy?
All but the one that you're on.
What did you think of the other ones? Because I've only read the
first
that you just talked about.
Okay. That one's still my favorite.
Okay.
Of the first 3.
Yeah, and then I read My Darling Duke. I actually tried reading Wicked Marquess around the time that it came out, and I actually DNF'd it. And I think it's because of the audio, because like that narrator's not my favorite. But I think I am gonna try it again, so then I can read Scoundrel of Her Own.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I've read a couple of her other series too, like the Scandalous House of Clayton. I've read those ones. Let's see, she has the Rebellious Desires series. Like she has so many.
She does. Yeah, she has quite the backlist.
I feel like I've read a lot, yet there's still way more.
Yeah,
so many. She has a series that has 12 books in it.
Yeah.
Wow.
One of her series, because I added some to my wish list, and I actually ordered some. Like I ordered the other Regency series that like the covers look like the Wedded by Scandal ones.
Yes,
those ones.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was cutting in and out while you were talking, but I think that I was saying this to Christy yesterday, that when the Earl Meets His Match is the closest to her newest stuff, like you can feel her getting in her groove with this one. Whereas like the first, because I haven't read the third one, but I read the first two, and then like they were just like good.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah,
like they were good, but they weren't the same level as like Matter of Temptation or like or the Duke. But I also, you were talking about the Wicked Marquess, like I didn't like that one at all. So many people do, but like I don't like that one.
Yeah.
Really,
I DNF'd it.
The hero
That's
is
my least favorite in that series.
Yeah.
The hero's so angry. I don't like that. I don't like that kind of revenge level when it gets in the way of stuff, which I know that's what revenge is supposed to do. But it just, after like, I don't know, for other books by Stacey Reed, that one just feels so like not like her.
Yes.
Because usually the hero like gets out, like his woman is everything.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. I was having to talk about that book with somebody, and they were like, that's my first book by her. Like, I love it. And I'm like, I'm glad, but also like, just so you know, that's not her usual like forte. Like it's very different for her.
Right. And that's why like even in ones where because that's what I love about the one I just read, is that even when you have a scenario that, and this scenario is popular in historicals, where one person or both like doesn't believe in love, but every action that they have shows that they know what love is.
Yes.
Yeah. So even though the lip service is like, I can't love, or my parent, like it didn't work or whatever, I don't get annoyed by it because their actions are showing that they love. Right. Whereas and I'm not like, this is the one that's coming to mind. I'm not picking on this author, but there's a few like by Sarah McLean where characters say they don't believe in love, and then they do lots of white fanging to the person when they're intimate. I'm like, yeah, and you're proving you don't believe in love. So maybe that's consistent. I hate it. I'm very specifically thinking of one book. Oh, most of her books are absolutely wonderful, but like with Stacey Reed, I'm okay with the hero being like, no, I don't believe in love. But then everything they do is just swoops and butterflies in your stomach, and you're like, no, you just need someone to click it for you, but you love. I don't know. I'm okay with that, especially because a lot of her characters think about things differently. Like in The Wolf and the Wildflower, he doesn't know what he's trying to articulate because he doesn't really get how to be about people, but he literally is like instinctual. This is my person. Instinctually, you are my person type thing. And I love that. So good. Like, Lisa has heroes who do that too, right? Like some of her just, they just are, whether they're the rake or they're whatever. And Jessin brought this up because I was convincing her to read the series. I was like, I do. And of course she's like, I have to start at the beginning, but I'm going to binge them all. They'll be quick. And I was like, they'll be very quick if you do them all. But she brought up the, it just went out of my head. Shoot, which one did we bring up? Oh my God, what book did we bring up? Fuck. I was just going to say it.
You and Jessin?
Yes, me and Jessin. We were talking about Harry. We were talking about Harry from Love, Tempted at Twilight. That when you see the person and you know they're yours, and even when they do underhanded, like naughty things to get them, the reader are like, yeah, but she's your, like, I know that she's your person. That's why you're doing that. It's that aspect of it. Not necessarily because he's the perfect example, but that's the example we were.
Right.
Because she's reading an older Julia Quinn, or not, Jesus.
Oh, she was reading like Prince of Dreams.
She is. And
yeah,
she's like, this hero, I can see parts of him that have that aspect, but also it's not written out the best way. Like, it has those aspects of, I see a person and I know that they're mine, but then they're not doing the actions that show it. Where like Harry, he's like, oh, she's pretty, she's what I want, I'm gonna take her, I'm gonna do all the machinations I have to have her. But then he's got her and he's like, well, now you're just my pretty object. And she's like, I ain't gonna be that. Like, that's right. He also does the actions of like, I'm gonna buy you whatever you want, I'm gonna do all these things, and it's like, that's not enough, you have to do more. And in like Prince of Dreams, he does whatever he has to do to get her, and then he is a fucking cheater. And it's like, Lisa, that's not how you write that.
Oh no.
No.
Those two books are wild, like the Stokehurst series.
See, and I've read Prince of Dreams, so
okay, yeah.
But like, I was in the mood when I read it, and I was like, this is bonkers. There's time traveler, there's reincarnate. Like, I was having a good time. So like, I think I rated that like 3.5 or 4 because like it was whatever.
Yeah.
Because it was really unique, and also the time that it was written, like there was lots of time travel romances coming out and things, and that's sort of the take on it. That's what I look at, is her take on it. But when you get into the intricacies of that one, like the dude is doing incest. That's what's happening in that book because it's his great grandmother.
Yep. I couldn't with that book. I think I gave it 2 stars.
Like, it's a thing, Rachel, of like, he's not treating his woman well, and it's kind of like a dream state, but also like he gets sent back in. There's a portrait of his ancestors, and he gets thrown back to that time. And his great grandmother looks a lot like his wife now, and it's the same scenario. And he's like, I need to not sleep with her, but she looks like his wife now.
Oh my God.
And like, you're not supposed to look at it too carefully because
it's like a kind of love triangle with his ancestor situation. Like it's a mess.
but it also reminded me of like of like A Christmas Carol too, because it was like he needs to change his ways or lose his ways he has now. So it's like, this is what will happen to your relationship if you don't do so. I just thought it was bonkers, and I like had a fun time. But it's one of those where like listening to Jess and recall it back to me, I was like, oh yeah. Nope, you are totally correct in any of your anger or dislike of that book. I'm a vibes person sometimes, especially with old school romance. I'm a vibes person. I don't, like Crystal was talking about that of like, I can't read books that are just vibes, and I was like, but I can with historicals. Like Shanna was totally vibes for me. I dug that book so much. The heroine was such a brat, and the hero is literally like disciplining her, and I needed him to. I needed this man to discipline her because she was such a brat. At the end of it, I believed that she had grown up, and I was like, this book isn't going to work for 90% of readers today, but for me, it was perfect. Like, it was so good because I just needed her to get smacked, and like, because it was historical, sometimes she got smacked, and I was like, no.
Yep, those old.
I'm not mad at this. Anyway,
yeah,
and I didn't even try to read the other one because I didn't know they were in order. This was when I still of course want to read all of her backlist. I only have like 8 that I haven't read, but I was just drawing them out of a hat to read them. And that's what I did with that one. And so I got halfway in before I was like, oh, it's very obvious that the someone else had a book first. But
see, I actually liked the first one in that Midnight Angel. I didn't mind that one as much. Then the second one just went off the rails.
Right. And I probably thank you, Linda. Yes, it's so great. Like when people are like, let me go back to the beginning, I was like, how about you skip Flame and the Flower, and how about you read Shanna, because it still has a lot of the drama. But it honestly, like, it was a great story for me. So
I might have to try it. I don't know. I need to be in the mood for it though. I need to be in the mood for like a bonkers, like old school historical.
Yeah, and the audiobooks are coming for her.
Oh.
They keep getting pushed back, which is why, like, I mean, Rick Appreciation is on hiatus, but we kept trying to do one of her books, but we were going to wait for the audio because we were like, to get through The Wolf and the Dove, like, I needed an audio. But The Wolf and the Dove, Shanna, some of the other oldest ones, they're all getting audiobooks. And the most recent update said they'd be May is when they're supposed to start coming. So,
okay.
That's exciting.
Says they'll be unabridged, so
good
to get it. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I do recommend Shanna. I really, really do. I can't speak to any of her other books because Flame in the Flower I've tried reading 3 times. DNS,
oh really?
I don't want to. Yeah. Before I was a part of even like Book Talk or BookTube Talk, but I'm on the journey to read the oldest historical romances because I am a collector. I was a collector before I ever had an audience, and I wanted to do it. So I was like, oh, it's this book called The Flame and the Flower, and it was really easy to find. And then I started reading, and I was like, what's happening? I read Catherine Coulter when I was a kid, and she has a lot of the same plots and things show up as they all did. But anyway, I talk about that in my romance journey video where I was like, I mean, the ladies in the 80s and 90s, there's no such thing as content warnings, and we were all okay. We're all okay. Not that they exist now. I am not saying they shouldn't exist now, but we didn't have them, and we were just fine.
There was some crazy shit going on in those books.
There was some crazy shit, like apparently familial, like incest, and
I feel like those books are just so for like the entertainment and like the escapism.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, not necessarily the most swoony romance.
Exactly.
I look at it now of like, there's always been these different levels of romance, always. You know, like I look at like some kinds of of bodice rippers, and then like some that were going a lot deeper. As to what we have now, we're like, we have the contemporaries and those that hit us a lot deeper. And we have the candy puffs of Jessica Kane and other stuff that have all the triggers and we don't care. Like, that's how I look at those. Because when I look back and we do old school, like I've been reading some Teresa Medeiros and I'm like, these really touch me. Like, wow, like this is so good. And they're contemporaries of these other authors too, you know? So there's always been these. It isn't all old school romance did those things. Maybe the language was still like problematic and stuff, but like their plots weren't always that. Just like not everything is kidnapping in contemporary now, you know, like there's always been the levels of it and those who enjoy both. So
yeah,
that's true.
Remember,
there's
like,
something for everybody. There's truly is something for everyone.
You know, the books that are all about the smut today are not a brand new thing.
No,
they're not a brand new thing. It's nothing that hasn't always been. So that's why I try to remember when, you know, because I think in a lot of the romance journey videos people have made, we talk about how sometimes it feels like the newest stuff coming out isn't hitting the same or this or whatever. And I'm you know, but the ones that get blown up because the authors are popular. And so we see their stuff and we see the influencers talking about them. And I was like, that's always been a thing. If we are in the bubbles and we're not looking for anything new, we're not going to find it. Like we will just see those ones pop up. And if you can only read 5 books a month, maybe less, those are probably the books you're gravitating towards. And that's why Colleen Hoover and Julia Quinn, those are the ones that stay popular. Because once they start to bubble up, like, well, if you can only read 1 book a month, you're maybe going to grab this one that you've seen all over everywhere.
Yeah.
You know, you don't have time to invest in all of this, you know, you're just snagging those things. But that's why I do take my job pretty seriously of like, I want to find ones, but I also see all my friends hyping stuff up and I'm like, nope, I want to read this too. Like, I want to read this too. But I also loved finding like Under a Northern Sky, you know, and being the one that's talking about it and having an author be like, nobody's talked about my book yet. Like I'm like, well, I want to talk about your book. I love it, you know?
Yeah.
Anyway, that's a ramble from me. Sorry, but
no, it's totally cool.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna wrap up this live stream. I'm like yawning all over the place. I swear, I still have jet lag. I have to still have jet lag. Like, it's crazy right now how tired I am. And yeah.
I believe it. That stuff sneaks up on you though.
It really does. And I haven't really had a day off since flying in. So it's just a thing. So
yeah.
But thank you all so much for joining us. Thank you, Christy and Jen, for joining me on my channel. This was a lot of fun. Got some good reading done, and I'm really excited to jump back on into When the Earl Met His Match, for sure. And I'll message you, Jen. I'm going to keep you updated. All right, everybody have a good night or good day, whatever your time zone is. And when's the next sprints?
Tomorrow, Tiffany's, same time, 7 p.m. Central.
Same time.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Yep.
All righty. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Bye.